Hello, and welcome to Wyverns and Weirdos Fathomless, the tabletop podcast set in the world of Fierlor. I'm your Dungeon Master, Darby, and joining me, as always, are Mitch, playing Neris, Jake, playing the Fishman, Joe, playing Alton, Laura, playing Janice, and Zoe, playing the Wren. Let's jump into it. Where we last left off, after retrieving the Farstone required to create a spell jammer, the party reconvened at the Proud Gentleman, a nice quality tavern with some private meeting rooms at the back, where they discussed the future, and Neris assigned each of the crew their roles upon the ship. As the night grew long at one point, Neris, I believe, went out for drinks, and upon heading back to the rest of the party, became consumed in a way by poisonous fungal spores that came from the Mistforged, as some would know them, 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, or Designation 42, and there were some undead that made themselves in the tavern as Janice smashed his way out of the door in Neris's face. But we have preemptively rolled initiative, as we often do when we have an opportunity, and at the top of the initiative round is the Fishman. Fishman, what would you like to do?
He did get a natural 20.
Yes, so that's...
Just to double check to remind myself, what does that mean?
So, first action you take on your first turn in combat, according to our house rules, you get advantage.
Excellent. His first action, bonus action, he's going to tap his shoes together. Oh, I guess not shoes, they are his braces. And there's no longer a door in front of us, as far as I'm aware.
It is
cloud of wood and...
Not quite, but it is open and somewhat off its hinges and not in the greatest state.
This whole scenario is off its hinges. So, Fishman head a little bit to Fishman's left. Is that a window that he sees leading out of the tavern, right next to what looks like the red staircase?
No, that is a door. Yes.
Cool. He would like to sprint outside, please. I say sprint because he's moving fast. He's moving as far as I'm aware at his normal speed, so he'll go outside. He, as an action and precaution, because he's seeing a lot of undead, he's going to cast first level protection from good and evil. And just out of curiosity, he has met 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 before. I say met, he's seen 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 before.
You've seen him before.
Did he recognize what 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 is? Because I don't believe he does at this stage.
That is a good question. You have, I would say, a vague awareness of what he is. Roll me a history check. You know very little about 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧.
Cool. He's a mushroom zombie, as far as Fishman is aware. He's going to call out to 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 if he can.
Okay.
You mean our party harm. I wish to talk. Will you join me? And that's where he'll end his turn.
Okay. So, next is Neris.
Neris had engulfed in this cloud balls, and seeing Fishman out at presumably the boss or the leader of this organization, Neris wishes to do the opposite of that, and is going to look at... We can't quite see 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, I don't think, so he'll look at that 𝗖𝗔𝗧 spoke to. This is kind of backing up, sort of back into the remnants of the door, he's just going to angle his head a little bit and with his right hand just kind of shoot off really nothing that can be seen, but he's going to try and cast Mind Sliver.
There's no way that's saving. That's a 2 on the die.
Okay, it takes a whole 4 psychic damage. However, it will subtract 1d4 from the next saving throw it makes before the end of my next turn. That is my action, as I am still backing away from the room. You know what? I think that's all I'm going to do. Anyway, just... There are many things here. I don't know where they're from. And that's all he says. But I'm going to move him back.
All right. So next is Loren.
Oh boy. I believe it was stated at the end of last session that we could all kind of see through the door. Punted off its hinges, a fist-shaped hole. See 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 kind of through the door. And Loren has this moment where the only way I can describe her face is just, oh no, oh. And then Fishman runs out of the room. So, as an action, I am going to cast Sending to Fishman. As I walk it's going to be a whole 30 feet for me to get to the door. So as I walk towards the door, I am yelling in... So it's kind of like, you know, when you're in the same room as someone on a Zoom call and they don't have their headphones on and you can like hear yourself and it's this weird echo effect and you can hear her voice because she is speaking quite loudly, but you can also hear it in your head as she kind of in Primordial, because she knows you speak Primordial. What are you doing, you absolute idiot? That's right-hand man, and you're running out to have tea and biscuits with him. There's civilians in here. You pay some. And she just keeps yelling in Primordial as she marches her little body to the door. So she's kind of crammed in there next to Janice. I'm actually gonna make her toast a little smaller. But she's little. And then she's just kind of like gonna peek out the door. Sorry Janice, I'm getting right up in your grill. Boneless number 2 at that table terrorizing a bunch of civilians. I would like to use 2 sorcery points to make Ray of Frost a bonus action.
All right.
So that is a plus 11 to it. That's a 29, baby.
Yeah. These things, very hard to miss. So,
okay.
With a plus 11, you would literally have to roll a 1 to miss.
That's good to know.
They have an AC of 12.
That takes 9 points of cold damage, and it is reduced by 10 feet until the start of my next. And then she's just gotten all up in like Janice's grill to like shoot this little guy, and then she is immediately gonna like slam back into the wall and just hide out of sight of the doorway. She does not want 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 to see. We are going to just make it canon. 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 did not really hear her speak, so she's just relying on that right now. And that is her turn.
Does Fishman get to reply?
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
25 words or less.
He may have answers. I seek. Are they dangerous? I may not make it back. No. Sorry. I will try to come back.
Okay.
Next to Janice, just see Loren just throw her hands to the sky and cover her face with her hands. That's her turn.
Also, Neris would see that as well. Neris is still
I don't know people right now.
No. He'd at least peripherally see it, though. Anyway, it is Janice's go.
So, sort of after the immediate embarrassment, mild confusion, slight pride at the door down, and then unfortunately immediately showering Neris and the rest of the lovely establishment in spins, Janice takes in a lot of wild things very quickly, honing finally in as the fancy wizard directly in front of him kind of tries to make it to the room. Quickly nods directly to said wizard, sidestepping by sort of like briefly touching him on the small of his back to either direct him gently further into the room or a little more forcefully nudge him. As then steps directly through the door, and he barks, "Right, Stay back, stay safe. Whether this is to Neris, the others in the room behind him, or the monsters themselves, you're unsure. But then he calls out to the entire tavern, everyone else, get out, be safe, is under control. Janice then immediately crouches and just barrels forward, sort of rebalancing his glaive to rest in both hands. As he turns this long weapon down, and with a hard smack towards the horrible monstrous flesh creature that the wren also attacked. Or the other end seesaws up with a crack. How heavy, we shall see as I roll to hit. So first one is a natural 16 on the die, so that's like a 27. So that's gonna hit. I did quickly pre-roll the damage. So the damage for the first attack is 11 points of, I believe, slashing damage. Yep, slashing damage. And 2 points of thunder damage as a small boom echoes out and lightning crackles. And then the second attack, we'll roll again. That's a natural 19, so it will hit again, because that's like a 28 or something. I rolled it again. I rolled the exact same damage. So that's also a total of 13 points of damage, 11 slashing, 2. And then, so 2 heavy cracks on this disgusting skin-like abomination, and sort of seesaw crack of the glaive. He finally shouts out, hostile intruders, crew, protect yourselves if you need, or take to arm. And that's the end of his turn.
So with your second hit, the pile of flesh collapses like a bag, like a leather sack to the ground, limp and lifeless.
There we go then! Intruders, crew, protect yourselves if you need, or take to arms, and he will also bonus action fly into a rage as lightning begins to pool around this entire room from within.
Alright. On to the remaining bonelesses go. The boneless is a bit further away from those that would be its quarry, and it is going to start moving. It's going to kind of compress itself and start moving towards you, Janice. Feet just slumping and not squelching, it's not wet, but like slithering almost underneath the tables and between chair legs to its way as well possible. Then it does not have reach, unfortunately. But that is the next to go is Alton.
So Alton, he was like, stood up from his table quickly, seeing all this commotion, seeing these spores that he can sense there's this strong dark magic from. He stands up rapidly and is hit by like this wave of dizziness and fatigue from the exhausting events of the day. After a moment, he turns to Neris and rips off his own scarf and kind of throws it at him and cover up your mouth and don't breathe in those spores. They're bad magic, and I don't think I could heal that in a hurry. Look after yourself. Then he will turn to the door and through it. Seeing Fishman and Janice having both rushed into battle, he is going to get out both of his pistols and start loading them, fiddling with some of the settings to get some additional damage into them. As he's doing so, he's going to look out the way that Fishman went and yell out, "Fishman, are you alright? Need any backup? Don't stray too far on your..."
And looks like he's preoccupied around the corner towards Exley, but he gives a thumbs up.
Just kind of like gives him a look. "Oh, yeah, and you don't do anything stupid." And then he's going to look back to all the various zombies, and he lines up for a shot. He realizes there are way too many civilians. Doing some quick calculations, there is way too much risk. If he misses, that it could ricochet, hit someone, or it could even go through one of the enemies and hit one of the civilians behind. So he's just gonna yell once again, "You want to fucking die? Get out of here!" And I'm going to hold my action to shoot once the civilians are out of the way.
Next, Husk Zombie. So this Husk Zombie is going to move 5 feet. and make a claw attack against this reasonably well-to-do person. That's still going to miss, though, because I rolled a total of 7. But they do get multi-attack, so I'm going to try a second hit. That will hit, and it will do a total of 6 damage.
Can Neris see that?
You just can, I think, just through the door. It
yeah,
is.
this is... Damn it. We're going to use our last portent if it's not too late for that.
Okay, yeah, you can... I'll allow it.
Neris is going to, sort of half covering up his face with this scarf, look over at this civilian and just in this brief burst of panic, or psychic image, which is just one word of no, and that's almost enough to cause that civilian to kind of bound, and that's a 6.
A 6? Unfortunately, is still an 11. The zombie claws into their chest. Spores erupt from the zombie's hand, just shedding as it swings, and this person collapses to the ground. Next is another husk zombie that is going to take a similar play. It's going to step 5 towards this person, attack this person. So that's a 21 total. Yep, that's enough. Claw into the chest, shedding spores. Person falls to the ground. And then they're going to claw at this fellow here. That is going to be enough again.
That Neris will silvery barbs.
Okay, so that's a roll at disadvantage. Even with disadvantage, quite easy to hit. This one's going to go after this person. Then number 3 is over here. It's going to make it 10 is going to hit. That's good. And then the other person, that's going to be enough. As it makes its way through this one, but almost like it's swimming through the crowd. Claw in the shoulders of these two. It's almost a mixture of shock and the poison system from these fungal spores that causes these two to collapse. I'm going to go a little bit further that way. And then the final zombie is going to hit another claw into a patron, and then he steps 5 foot. That one misses. Now we have the deathlock. It's got a clear shot towards you, Alton. It's going to do 2 grave bolts towards you. As these bolts of necrotic energy shoot toward the Deathlock's start. One is an 18 to hit.
Yeah.
The other is only a 9.
Oh,
so one will hit. So that is a total of 13 points of necrotic damage that you take as this grave bolt hits you in the center of your chest. At the end of the initiative round, first we have 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 move. 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 is just calmly walking away down the steps. And then general turn for the crowd. Most of them are going to start, but ones that collapsed rise up as fresh new husk zombies, the fungal spores spreading through their system. After moving a bunch of NPC, there are 2 left to move. They will trigger attacks of opportunity. That is going to hit. So one lady tries to run and is just clawed into and closer to the bar. Escape. She has managed to hit by this claw. in a very short period of time. Alton, somehow in all this movement, you have even less line of sight to any.
Yeah, they've run to me.
Zombies.
I think Alan's kind of swearing over the pain of like his injury that he got with like, fuck, I should have taken the shot then. Now the civilian's been killed and I still cannot take it.
Alright. Top of the new round, Fishman.
So Fishman got completely ignored. Ugh, I don't like that. But Fishman can hear and see the chaos that's going on. Fishman is going to run into the wall, break line of sight to Exley, basically biting his lip in disgust. And he will disappear for a time and reappear right up next to the Deathlock.
Okay.
But as he reappears, he has his crossbow to its head as he lets it a crossbow. With all the flair I've added, that does hit 19 to hit.
A 19 hit will, I believe that. Yes, that certainly hits. Again, this creature is not particularly... It is also an AC of 12.
Excellent. So essentially what he's done is he's ethereal stepped through the wall here right up next to him.
Okay.
And then dropped that. And then, he will make that damage roll.
Yeah.
Which, it's okay. It's only a 6. But, that's okay.
Yeah.
And just to double check that I'm doing this right, I believe I can make a second attack.
Yes, you are above.
Yeah. Alright, so that's a 22, so that definitely hits. As he loads another crossbow using his feature.
Yep.
And does 10 damage this time, 10 piercing.
Alright.
And then he will turn to Loren, quite some distance away, but Loren knew who Exley was, and say, Exley has left. I'm here to stay. Oh, actually, he wouldn't know that Ek's name, actually. They're here to stay.
Feckin' good, you idiot.
Alright. Next is Chris.
So seeing civilians dying, does Neris have any idea whether this is part of some greater plan, or is this creature here for the benefit stone that we found?
Roll me an insight check. Gonna be a high DC to really glean anything.
Neris is going to cast Mage Armor on himself.
Okay.
And with scarf sort of wrapped around his mouth and nose, so it's just his eyes, which are full of fear, going to step out into the room, and it's just going to yell at these creatures to try and get their attention, try and draw their attention away. He's just going to yell at them.
Okay. Next is Loren.
Things are going very poorly. Things are going so poorly. But I know how long worry about hitting civilian real. Those monsters are in a big group in the center, so I would very much like to try and give them some grief. So, Darby, would you be plant a 20-foot radius sphere on that middle table in the second row? I now need every creature a strength saving throw.
Yeah.
So what is happening while Darby does these is Loren just run back out of the room and Fishman be like, Exley's gone! And she's just standing there like, you're all idiots. You're all about to die. You're all about to kill yourselves and die. So she kind of takes her back and she plants it in the ground. And as she opens her eyes, they are glowing and the orb on her staff glows. And this kind of almost lightning spark kind of down her staff on the floor. And it shoots across the wood and up through the center of that table. Air starts being pulled all around into this 20-foot radius sphere, and a storm forms. in the center of the room. Did any of them beat a 19?
One did. One got a dirty 20.
Okay. Everything else takes 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
The wording of the spell implies that one doesn't take any damage, but if it remains, any creature now goes into that sphere or ends its turn there is going to take damage. It is also now difficult terrain, so those zombies are going to have a harder time getting to any other civilians, and they also now are going to have a harder time hearing other people. I hope no one needs to listen closely to anything because it's loud. This is a storm. And then as a bonus action, it's almost like the sphere is out in the room, but she doesn't have to actually be looking. It's just within range. She's actually watching the orb on her sphere, much the way Neris sometimes watches his. And she sees the interior of the storm. And as she watches, she just picks a point within 60 feet. Bolt of lightning from that storm shoots out, and I rolled a 15 to hit the husk zombie right in that very top corner.
Okay, number 3.
Show me the boy. Number 4.
Number 4, okay.
Is it 60 feet of the sphere, not 60 feet of me? I do 18 points of lightning damage. So that's my bonus action. I can do it every turn.
That is a crispy, though still standing, a husk zombie.
Nice. Yeah. Cool.
Just the skin and the spores are charred, and it almost seems to shake with ash and spore.
And then, as a free action, much like everyone else, she's gonna just yell out into the room like, if there's not a door, find a window. There's only so much we can do, kids.
Alright, next is gonna be Janice.
Alright, so Janice ended his turn still laughing from cracking apart this essence of this horrible skin-like liquid creature. But then, one of the small localized cracks of minor lightning booms across the room as in a sudden, horrifically bloody mess of violence and spores is stilled for but a moment, as the horror of something that happened many years ago crosses his mind as these patrons who were torn apart immediately again in a different form. And again, just as a flash across his face for a moment, it goes, shit, ladies and gentlemen, patrons of all persuasions, flee or take to safety. And he starts to sort of run, even though there's this disgusting amorphous flesh pile approaching him. Janice is instead going to race past it. That's fine. Barreling forward instead, he almost runs into the space where Loren suddenly raises a storm. And almost has to like skid to a halt because he was going to make across to the rest of the room. So he instead takes a very sharp left and goes and attacks the little zombie to number 2 on the map.
Funnily enough, at this stage you don't actually take an attack of opportunity because you haven't actually left the range of the bone.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So he's going to attack this zombie. 24 to hit. No, more than that. So it's 9 points of slashing damage and 3 points of thunder damage. And then again, barreling to slam into this with like a crack smack combo with the so he's like fully using the length and like just heaviness of this large instrument as it crackles thunder across them. And second attack, that's 22 to hit. I rolled a 16 slashing damage and 5 points of thunder, total of 21 points.
There are a lot of spores shedding off this creature. You managed to hack off an arm, but it is still standing.
And then at that little final point there, because he was still activated, he just sort of bares his teeth at this creature and is like, fall or die. And then 4 points of lightning damage off, like just shoot off from his aura and into this creature.
That was exactly what you needed. As you char the remainder of this zombie as it collapses to the ground.
He just flashes this wild green as this lightning whips up around him from his own and also this immense storm behind him. And then he looks across to where Fishman and this what seems to be the leader. We've got this. Seek to contain as much damage as possible, and that's the end of his turn.
Okay. Next is the Boneless going to slam at you twice. I rolled poorly on both of those, so it misses with both of its slams.
Nice try. Run along home.
The sheer amount of storming, thunderous energy here is obscuring its ability to actually make contact. And then to Alton. What would you like to do, Alton?
Canals. Right. He's gonna go around like the people that are all fleeing. I'm just gonna weave his way around them. I'm gonna try to jump off on a table.
Okay, roll an acrobatics check to jump the table.
Oh yeah, this is a disadvantage. Is a 19. Oh, second one's a 7.
Well, you try to leap up, catch your foot right at the edge and lose your balance immediately. Roll me a dexterity saving throw to knock over prone.
No, that's another 7.
So you fall over prone on the ground in point of bludgeoning, but you just fall.
He kind of like struggled just to get back on his feet, probably like just down his head. The cat that has just fallen over and done something embarrassing. He's like, alright, no one saw that. And he's just going to get out his pistols again, check over the settings, get everything ready, and I'm going to fire at the Boneless. So that one is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20?
Oh, and I was putting fire damage in it with that extra oomph. So that is 16 points piercing damage and 4 points of fire damage.
This is some very charred, leathery looking skin, but it is still shambling. I hesitate to say standing because it's more of a slouchy slump, but it is still up.
So he takes another shot at it. That one's a 16. That is 13 points of piercing damage.
That is enough to take it out. It just, like the other one, just slumps to the ground like a large, empty leather sack.
He's going to go and look for another one.
So you have a clear line of sight to several husk zombies and the deathlock.
Yeah. Alright, he'll take the final shot at the deathlock.
Alright.
Which is right on Fishman's tail. Alright, so that one is 11 points of piercing damage.
Okay. It is still standing, but it is just hanging in there.
You're welcome.
Alright, next are the husk zombie. So, the first of the husk zombies is going to bolt up to the crowd of people, and it is going to place its claws into its own chest, rip it open, and just burst in an explosion of fungal spores. One within 5 feet, so that's only 2 people, have to roll a Constitution saving throw. They both saved from it. That kills that first one. Okay, this one is gonna also rip into itself and burst. So the 2 on either side, that's a failure. That is a success. The fungal spores this person is going to collapse. Number 3, also in the storm sphere, is going to make its way towards Janet. Okay. Next is number 4. Burst. That's okay. So those 2 civilians collapse to the floor as they are overwhelmed by these spores. Next one's going to damage here. This is going to be able to target 3 people with its burst ability. That's a success. So only 1 person down from that one. Number 6 is going is going to go to you, Janice, and it's going to burst. Roll me a Constitution saving throw, please.
That's a 14.
14. That's still enough. You
Good.
do take half of the poison damage. He is 6 points.
Alright, so he just sort of like grits his teeth and almost throws his arm up, trying to cover his mouth as this happens.
Number 7's going to these two here and burst. That's a success.
This is full of horrible, noxious spores everywhere by this point, just floating around the whole room.
This one's going to run for the same two people standing on those who came before. And that's a success. That is a failure. Next is number 9. It's going to go for... It's not very smart. It's going to the storm cloud. That is all the husk zombies. Finally, the deathlock is going to use its deathly twice on you, Fish. The first is a total of 6. Second is a total of 15. Okay. Next is all the civilians. So any NPCs that just make their way out. Exley is far away. There are a couple of civilians still in cabin. There is one that's gonna take an attack of opportunity as it bolts away, and they're gonna be hit, which won't even get to move away. They fall to the ground, basically thrown into the air and collapse as the claw hits them. Get back to the top of the round, and it is Fishman's go.
This guy in front of Fishman the Deathlock, he's quite... Fish gonna take another shot at him. That's 11 piercing damage.
That's enough.
Um,
So it just collapses as your bolt goes through it.
Can Fishman then please bolt? I say bolt again, he's not actually dashing, he just can't go that fast. He's gonna go in between one of the zombie bursters and one of the NPCs.
Okay.
That's a village, right? Can he please use his second attack?
Yeah, so you rush for another burster, go as you go, and you take a shot.
At the same time as well, he's going to be focusing on this one particular burster, and with his bonus action, he'll target that with his planar warrior. And that, I believe, is a natural 20. That's very spicy.
Nice.
So that's 27 to hit. Be 13 flat.
Yeah, plus the D.
Plus the... Yep. So that's 10 damage, and then on top of that, he does force damage.
So
An extra
1d8. 23, is it? Total? Plus the 1d8?
Does the d8 from the force damage also get...
Yes.
Alright. Oh my
Plus
god, add another 16.
So, yeah, you shoot through this zombie, and it is downed in 1.
He's still got movement, so he's going to step over the corpse to the closest.
Yeah.
First.
Next is Neris.
We're going to move forward.
Yeah.
We're going to gracefully and slowly, after seeing what happened 6 seconds ago, just prop himself up a little bit on a chair and use that to then maneuver him to the table, just sort of testing the weight of the table, making sure that it's going to make somebody's weight. And I'll step like it will.
Yeah. I think in that, because you're just up onto it, it does count as difficult terrain. But you can just step up onto the chair and subsequently up onto the table, provided you have the movement.
Perfect, I do. We're going to look at these extra little burster boys, and that civilian to the northeast of Neris. He's looking real slow, so Neris is going to try and hurry him along by pointing at him and casting Vortex Warp on him.
Okay. So
It's
that's
a Constitution saving throw. Neris is not actively explaining what he's doing, and this is not a calm
20.
All right, well,
And like as they kind of feel some sort of magic, like try to engulf them, they're just like, hey, what the fuck?
well, move quicker, please. This is not fun. And Neris will turn his attention back to these zombie things.
Okay.
And going to look back at the guy who's resisted his magic. But that will be his turn.
Loren, is your go.
Oh boy, every time it gets to my turn, I'm still in my sphere.
Yeah.
He's gonna take, I believe I re-roll every time.
Yes.
So he takes 10 points of an egg.
Okay.
Now, bonus action, first up. She's again watching this orb. Her eyes are glowing. She can see this like storm. She can see them all leaving the storm. She can see all these bodies rising and falling and rising. And this is potentially one of the worst days of her life. So she is just gonna go and again point her finger at a random point outside of her orb. And I would like to target number 14, please. 21 to hit. I take 15 points of lightning damage.
All right.
And then I would like to drop that spell. I'm going to use my movement to get kind of into the doorway, so I can see a bit better.
Yeah.
And again, her eyes are still glowing, her staff is still glowing, and as this storm dissipates, particles of it don't vanish, fall tighter and tighter and tighter into a cylinder, and then shoot down and out across the ground until these 8 storms begin to form. And these panthers appear, 8 of them, but all colored like Triton, like they're not black panthers, they are green muzzled with sheen to them that makes them look like they are wet. She is using her child of to conjure animals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she summons 8 panthers. They're fae, and they can appear in multiple unoccupied spaces. How many zombies are there? I said 8, so all of them are getting panther buddies,
Yeah.
actually. And also, I believe they died, so put a panther next to her, too.
Okay.
Because I know she's going to pop up. And I will command them, when it gets to their turn, to claw back all of these zombies. And that's my whole turn.
Janice, this is particularly noticeable to you because you are now flanked, like basically on either side by a pair of panthers.
They are allies.
Yeah, he's dealing with a lot right now.
Yeah. And it is your
Starts the what? But that's kind of clouded by him just sort of saying to himself, "Shogneshami, they're too fast." And he just like turns to bear down this monstrous zombie directly in front of him. And he bears down this monstrous zombie that's trying to him, but calls out, "Cowards, you creatures of spores! Turn to flee! Am I not feast enough for you compared to the smaller ones? Fight!" And then again, whack and smack with the glaive. So that's a 26 to hit for the first one, and a 21 to hit for the second. So it's 13 points of slashing damage, and is 11 points and 6 points of thunder damage.
Okay, that is enough to take this one out.
And again, my storm aura lances out and the zombie that's still standing next to me for 2 points of lightning damage.
Okay.
And he just bares his teeth at them.
All right. Next is Alton.
Right, come on, just a few more left.
You don't have clear line of sight.
No.
You probably could get somewhere.
Scoot here, and then it's like,
I mean, you could step onto the table like Neris did.
yes.
There's chairs to aid in it.
Yeah.
That would give you a pretty good view of all the zombies.
Yeah, fair. Alright. He'll be inspired by Neris and be like, alright, I'll take this slowly and I'll step onto the table. Can he reach that though? Neris is so blocking the way. Yeah, I could probably get it. I'm gonna shoot beside Neris's like shoulder. It's gonna be a close one. Alright, Alright, let's burn these. So I'm going to do some settings, damage into this one, and... Alright, the first one is 26 to hit.
26 certainly hits, even with the half kites.
Excellent. And for fire damage, 6 points of fire damage.
And the piercing?
Oh, sorry, the piercing was 16.
It is damaged. It is still standing, though.
Excellent. All right, let's get another shot into that one. That one is a 17 to hit. So that one is 16 points of piercing damage.
That is enough to take that one out.
We also half cover from Neris. I'm going to try to get the burster number 14. Let's take those out before they can get to the civilians. So bonus action, I'll make a shot at that one.
Yeah.
And that is a 25 to hit.
25 saying hits. Roll for damage.
Alrighty, so, wait, is it a D? Oh, that's a D12. Nope, not that one. Oh, sick. That is 11 points of damage.
Alright, so it's shaky, but it's still standing.
Get my pistol trained at that
So
one.
that is your turn. Burster's turn. Number 11 is by Janice and a panther. It's gonna rip its chest open and burst out. Janice, I need you to roll me a Constitution saver. Ren, I also need you to roll the panther's Constitution saving throw, please.
That's a 24 from Janice. Almost steals himself against this inevitable burst of spores and energy. But his body naturally fights against it.
Yeah. You do still take 9 points in damage from the...
That was a natural 1.
For
a total of 1
Yeah.
for the panther.
The panther takes the 19 points of poison damage.
That panther is gone.
Yeah.
This Triton, panther lets out maybe half a roar and then whimpers and it just dissipates into fallen rainwater.
All right. Then we have number 13 is claw at the panther, right by it twice. What is the AC of the panther?
12.
12. So one will hit, the other will miss. And number 3 takes 5 points of slashing damage. House Zombie 14 is going to do 2 attacks against Panther 2. One's a natural 1, the other one is a dirty 20 for
Hits.
9 points of slashing against Panther 2.
Still up.
Then 15 is going to do both hits, 6 and 4, so a total of 10.7.
Still up.
And finally, zombie number 9 is going to rip into its own chest and burst out. I'm going to need the fishman panther number 1 to roll me a Constitution saving throw, please.
That's
6. So the panther will take the full 17 points of poison damage.
That is Panther 6. He is dead.
All right. And just disperses.
Fishman got a 10.
Let me double check. Yeah, that is just a failure. So you all take the full 17 points of poison damage. Next is the 6 remaining panthers goes.
Okay, I wanted this to be real fast, so I pre-rolled all the hits and I pre-rolled all the damage. So, what is their AC, Darby?
Their AC is 10.
Okay, then none of them misses, which would be Panther number 7. Every other Panther is gonna hit. Them got a nat 20.
Okay.
So Loren did not nat 20 this evening, but a Panther did. It was Panther 2. So
I'm assuming they're moving the closest
target. Yes.
target. Yeah. Okay.
So Panther does 10 of damage.
So Panther 1 does number 15. 10 points. Yep.
Yep. Panther 2, it's 3 points of damage.
Okay.
Panther 3 does 6.
3. Yep.
And Panther 4 does 5.
Okay.
So there are just these oceanic, just clawing at these creatures, trying to rend them apart.
Yeah. One of the zombies is just being torn to pieces from both sides by a parent. It's still standing, but it is really shaky.
Good.
Okay. Next is the Fishman.
Everyone's standing up on tables, so Fishman is going to stand up on a table.
Okay.
Like a really good idea. He's definitely going to stand up on the closest table, smack bang in the middle. And then he is going to take a shot at...
I will move. While you're doing that, I will move civilians.
He'll take a shot at the closest zombie. He will also be using his force on that one for his bonus action.
Okay.
So, 15?
15 will hit.
Excellent. So that is 6 damage. We're going to re-roll that one.
Remind me, targeting?
I'm targeting 15.
15. Okay.
So I rolled exactly the same thing. So 6 damage.
6 damage. Is that including the base damage?
Not yet.
Not
sorry.
yet. Okay.
That is an additional 4 force damage.
Okay.
And then he's still up. Okay, you rolled the same. That definitely hits.
Yep.
And the same pitch.
Oh wow.
Fishman is happy where he is. He sees that these panther, which he can only assume is coming from Lorette, having come from the storm in the center, and he's very happy to see someone else partake in like magical animals. As he gives like a proud smile back towards Loren in the doorway that they're standing in.
Next is Neris.
We are looking at the closest zombie and casting Mind Sliver at it.
Okay.
With an intelligence saving throw.
That's not...
Right, that is 9 psychic damage.
Okay. It just collapses as you destroy what little function the brain still had.
After hearing the very close and very loud whizzing of bullets flying head, he is going to gingerly remove himself from the tabletop and sort of look at where these creatures are in relation to everyone that has ranged attacks, and just sidle out of the way of all of them.
So that means next is Loren.
Boy, I hate this. Okay.
There are
everything.
two
I know, but everything a sorcerer does is concentration. So, he is going to. It seems like things are getting a bit. There's a lot of corpses, but they're not hopping back. So everything seems to be a little bit better than it could be. Oh, she is going to actually start getting a little closer. She's keeping herself very backed to the wall, but she just wants to get kind of like to this corner, sort of near where Neris was. I can only judge by the way Mitch was moving his token for audio listeners in little circles, just running. He's having a day. So she wants to kind of on, and then she is going to call out to the panthers, being like, "Oh, good job, babies. Now give them a bite for mama, won't ya?" Action to command them to do what I want them to do. And I will then like to hit him with an ice knife. Dirty 30.
That'll certainly hit.
Yep. So first thing that's going to happen, again, there is this smoke kind of tendriling out from Loren, like there's almost like cat leashes, and then she just kind of whips her head around, and no one's really looking at her right now. For once, she's not drawing a lot of attention to herself, but there is this moment where it is that little bit too bird-like as she kind of whips her head to look at this zombie and just shoots her hand out, and a knife forms across her hand before it hits out. And that does points of piercing damage.
All right.
And then as it sinks into this zombie, she tilts her head a little bit again, and whispers, only really so she can hear it, but she thinks there might be someone listening. And she just goes, if this is a message, it's been received. And the shard explodes, doing 6 points of cold damage.
All right.
And that is her turn.
Is Janice.
So Janice kind of, again, been trying to sort of keep an eye on the battle as much as he can. By this point, he glances around. He cannot see any civilians. He also knows that he cannot reach these creatures in time, and so instead he turns back, sort of just cocks his head back, and just calls out, "Alton, Fishman," whatever those are from, "take out the last few from safety." And then he's instead going to turn and just very stride back to sort of just like not too far from Neros, just to make to watch and like sort of a couple of people as they escape.
Then next is Alton's go.
All right, on it. And he's going to turn to face one of the zombies, kind of like nodded appreciatively when Neris like got off the table and out of the way. So he lines up his clear shot and he's going to shoot at zombie bursting number 13.
All right.
Let's take it out. First shot is a 16 to hit, and that is 14 points of piercing damage.
That shoots right through its head and it collapses to the ground.
Collapsed. He does this sharp grin in triumph as the zombie collapses, and the eagle-eyed turns to look for the last zombie across the room, and it's just a bit far out of his range. He is confident in his skills, get shot at it. Okay, disadvantage, that is still 20 to hit. The piercing damage.
It is still standing, but it is really shaky.
Rapidly to make another shot again.
Ah, yes, your bonus action shot.
Yeah, final shot. That's a 16 to hit.
Yeah.
I don't think I can physically miss this, actually.
AC of 10
Nice. That's 5 points of piercing damage.
is enough. And the last one collapses to the ground, and the last of the civilians still flee of the tavern as they regroup outside. And that's where we're going to leave it for this week.
See you next week, everyone. Have a great week.
Next time.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye.
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 Bye. Sorry for listening.
I realized doing that I haven't got a tie on. So I'm just going to go get that.
It's a sexy episode. This is now officially a sexy episode. When are we doing episode 69, actually?
Oh, yeah. How far off is that one?
Yeah, what
We
did
better
we
keep
just
track.
push?
It's session 69, I guess.
Of
To be honest, like,
Today.
Fishman's got his abs out in a miniskirt. Like, anything Fishman does is sexy content, to be honest.
True.
It's a race, guys. Darby versus Mitch. Darby's already at the tightening stage.
Oh.
Oh,
It's a tie.
ah.
Zing, 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 zings across the board.
We're ready. This is going to be a good
Cow.
session.
Yeah.
Enough of that bit.